Good morning, students. Today we will go through the story of the novel Wuthering Heights. So, there are 34 chapters in the novel. If we begin with chapter 1, chapter 1 begins with Lockwood. Lockwood, he is the narrator, second narrator in the novel. First narrator is Nellie Dean. And the time mentioned by the writer is 1801. So the novel begins in the year 1801, and we are told that Lockwood is a tenant. He lives in the house, Thrushcross Grange, and he has come to meet his neighbor who is living at Wuthering Heights, and we come to know that this neighbor is Heathcliff. So, first we are told that Wuthering Heights, it is a place which is like a wild, secluded place, and the nature uh, there, or you can say the environment there, is always stormy, as wild and stormy winds they continuously blow uh, at this place. So Lockwood comes to meet Heathcliff at Wuthering Heights. Now Lockwood, he wants to know the history of this place, Wuthering Heights. The owner of the house is Heathcliff. He takes Lockwood in, but Heathcliff, he is not generous. He is a bit angry. He leaves Lockwood in a room, and he let his dogs uh, open behind Heathcliff. We come to know that he has two serious or violent sheepdogs and a fierce pointer bitch, and he lets loose them on Heathcliff. So the servant Joseph, he saves Heathcliff. He saves Lockwood from these dogs, and Heathcliff, he shows no sympathy for his guest. He offers wine to Lockwood as courtesy. Wine तो देता है, but he makes Lockwood feel that Lockwood is not welcomed in that house, Wuthering Heights. Anyway, Lockwood understands that he is not welcomed at this place, but after some time he pays another visit to that place, to Wuthering Heights, and by chance when he comes, it begins to snow. When it begins to snow, he has to come inside the house. This time he meets a young lady, and Lockwood feels that this young lady is Heathcliff's wife. She is a beautiful lady. She has golden hair and beautiful eyes, but there is a sad expression in her eyes. At this time, Heathcliff enters, and he very brutally treats the girl. He orders her to bring a cup of tea he orders her to make tea, and Lockwood, he later learns that this girl is Catherine, young Catherine, And who is this Catherine? She is a widow. Whose widow? She is the widow of Heathcliff's son, and the name of son was Hareton Earnshaw. So this Catherine, Junior Catherine, we will call her Junior Catherine in the novel. She is the widow of Hareton Earnshaw, Heathcliff's son. So it's night time and snow comes again. Lockwood, he wants to go back to his home, which is Thrushcross Grange, and he comes out of Wuthering Heights, but due to bad weather he is unable to return. So the housekeeper Gilla, Gillah, she is the housekeeper. She helps him. She brings him to the kitchen. So basically these two chapters, chapter 1 and chapter 2, these chapters, they introduce us to the major characters. Which are the characters? We come to know about Heathcliff. We come to know about Junior Catherine. We come to know about the narrator, one of the narrator, Lockwood. We come to know about the places which we call the setting of the novel. What are these two places? Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange. Another thing introduced in these two novels, that the novelist, she creates the atmosphere of mystery and suspense. We are unable to understand why Heathcliff, he treats badly to Lockwood. He treats Catherine in a bad manner. He is not happy to see his guest. So there is an environment of mystery in the novel, which is included in the beginning of the novel. Okay, since Lockwood has to stay at Wuthering Heights, he is given a room. The lady servant Gilla, she gives him a room. He is taken to bedroom, and Lockwood, he finds that there are some names written in on the window pane. They are the name Catherine Earnshaw, Catherine Earnshaw, Catherine Heathcliff, and Catherine Linton. Okay, so here another angle is added in the novel, that how Catherine was unsure, how she became Catherine Heathcliff, and how the name is somehow connected to Linton. Lockwood also finds a diary. It is written in a childish writing. Okay, and we come to know that this is the diary of Catherine. Catherine, and full name at that time was Earnshaw. This is the diary of Catherine Earnshaw. Moreover, the time belongs 25 years earlier. It was written 25 years back. So the action of the novel, which told us that it was 1801 in the chapter 1, it shifts to 25 years back in chapter 3. Okay, now Lockwood, he sleeps in that bedroom, but his sleep is disturbed by nightmares. नाइटमेयर्स, बुरे सपने जिनको आप कहते हैं. So he sees that there is a child, girl child, and she wants to come inside the house, Wuthering Heights, and she is unable to come because window is closed. He tries to let the child enter into the room, but he cannot. He has to drag the child's hand, and blood starts coming out of her hand, but child does he is unable to take that child inside, and the ghost does not disappear. So we are told that this child is Catherine or Kathy, who is requesting to let her come in, but Lockwood is unable to understand these things. This nightmare is an important thing in this chapter because it adds another element in the novel. You are told about the setting, you are told about the characters, then you were told about the two homes in the novel. And another important thing, you were also introduced to the environment of mystery and suspense, and now this ghost element, it adds supernatural elements in the novel. They are the supernatural elements in the novel. So this chapter 3 is also as important chapter in the novel, because in this chapter we first time see dead Catherine Anshaw. Diary also takes the reader to past, and we come to know that there are two persons who are telling us the story. One is Nellydine, another is Lockwood, and beside Nellydine and Lockwood, major events we come to know through this diary. If we come to chapter 4, let us come to chapter 4. This chapter 4 takes us further into the whole story, and we come to know that Lockwood is very curious. So he tries to find out who is this Catherine, who is Heathcliff, what is the story, and he asks Nellie Dean. Nellydine, she is presently working at Thrushcross Grange. Thrushcrossgrange, Thrushcross Grange. So we are introduced to second narrator in the novel. She is working at Thrushcross Grange. Nellydine says that she can tell Lockwood the story of these two houses because Nellie has earlier worked at Wuthering Heights, and presently she is working in Thrushcross Grange. So she is aware of all the incidents that took place in these two houses. She begins her story and tells that many years before, the owner of the house was Mr. Earnshaw. This Mr. Earnshaw and Mrs. Earnshaw, they used to live at Wuthering Heights. They had two children, Catherine and Hindley. So once Mr. Earnshaw, he goes to Liverpool, and when he comes back, he has a boy with him, and we are told that is the boy is dirty, he is ragged, he is a black haired child, we are unable to understand the language of this child. And Mr. Ansho, he found this child in the streets of Liverpool as a homeless or orphan boy, and this child is Heathcliff. Now the family refuses to take the child in, but after some time, Catherine becomes friendly to Heathcliff, but Hindley, he does not like the child. Rather, Hindley, starts hating and being jealous to Heathcliff. We come to know that Mr. Ansho, he dies after 2 years, and after his death, Hindley is the owner of the house because father has died and only male member is Hindley. So he acquires the home as a master, and he starts treating Heathcliff in a brutal manner. In chapter 5, you are told that during the course of the time, Catherine and Heathcliff, they come very close to each other. They love to play with each other. And if we talk about years, then Mr. Ancho, he died in the year October 1777. In this novel, you have to also keep a track of dates and years, because the story moves forward and backward many times in the novel. Sometimes you can see that the novel begins in 1801, and you in chapter 5 you have a reference of year 1777. So novel goes backward and forward in time. So this chapter tells us that Mr. Ancho, he dies, and after some time we find that after his death, Hindley returns from his hostel where he was sent for his education. He comes on the funeral of his father, and he brings a delicate and excitable and young wife, and we come to know the name of the wife is Frances. Now Hindley treats everyone in a bad manner. First, he banishes Joseph. Joseph is the servant in the house. Nellie was also a servant in the house. He banishes these two servants to the back of the house, servant quarters. Then there is an incident in this chapter that it is a one Sunday morning, and on a fine sorry, it's not morning, it's evening. One Sunday evening, Catherine and Heathcliff, they disappear from the house. Later we come to know that when night approaches, Heathcliff, he comes back to the house, and he tells that he and Catherine, they were playing, and they went to Thrushcross Grange, where Edgar and Isabella, they are the children of who lives in Thrushcross Grange, Linton family. Mr. and Mrs. Linton, they have two children, Edgar Linton and Isabella. So when Heathcliff and Catherine, they went to Thrushcross Grange, they saw that Edgar and Isabella, they were playing, and they let their bulldog loose on them, and this dog, it seizes Catherine by her ankle. You can say it doesn't bite, it seizes her by her ankle. So Lintons, they have committed a mistake, so they are horrified, and they take Catherine in, they take care of her, they wash their ankle, and they somehow send back Heathcliff because Heathcliff uses wrong language, and Catherine is kept there. So Heathcliff comes back to Wuthering Heights, and Catherine stays in Linton's family. So in this chapter, chapter 5th, you are introduced to Linton's family, and we come to know in chapter 7. If we come to chapter 7, we come to know that Catherine, she lives at Thrushcross Grange for 5 weeks and returns only on Christmas. When she comes back, she is transformed. Her behavior is transformed. She went away as a tomboy, as a wild child, and she comes back as a dignified, well groomed, and elegant young lady. So we come to know that there is a difference in the behavior of the children of these two families. The children of Ancho family, they are wild, they are passionate. The children of Linton family, they are calm. When they come back, they meet Hindley, and Hindley, when they come back, this Heathcliff, he goes to meet them all. First, he meets Hindley, and they don't like each other. Then Edgar Linton, he also makes fun of Heathcliff because Heathcliff has long hair. So Hindley, he not only dislikes Heathcliff but locks him in his bedroom. So these children, they celebrate Christmas, and when the celebration is over, Catherine goes to Heathcliff's room and she helps him because he has not eaten anything. So it is very inhuman treatment that the children of the house, they are enjoying a party on Christmas, and one child, Heathcliff, he is locked into the room, he is hungry, and nobody asks about him. So Catherine goes to Heathcliff in the evening. She helps him to come out and have food. And when Nellie asks Heathcliff that what he is thinking about, because he is thinking something and is not concerned about food. So see the remark of Heathcliff. What he says, it's very important. Heathcliff says that I am trying to settle how I shall pay back Hindley. I don't care how long I wait if I can only do it at last. So, if we come to know about the love of Catherine and Heathcliff in the earlier chapters, the theme of revenge, it is included in chapter 7. It is love between Catherine and Heathcliff, and it is feeling of revenge between Heathcliff and Hindley. Chapter 8 takes you from chapter 7 to chapter 8. Let me write here. Chapter 8. Chapter 8 takes you 1778, 1 year after the incident. Which incident? When Catherine, she goes to Linton's family. After 1 year, it is the writer provides you the season as well, that it was the summer of 1778, and somehow she says it was the June of 1778. In 1778, Hindley's wife Frances, she gives birth to a son, and the name of son is Hareton Earnshaw, and she dies after the birth of her son. When Hindley's wife dies, he starts ignoring everything in the house. So the condition at Wuthering Heights, or the quality of life at Wuthering Heights, it starts deteriorating. First Mr. Earnshaw dies, then Hindley's wife dies. Now Hareton Earnshaw, he is a weak child, and we come to know that at this time Catherine is 15 years old. In the writer mentions 1780. She is 15 years old. She is a young, beautiful girl, and the novelist also says that she is haughty, hot-tempered. She is headstrong, जिद्दी जिसको आप कहते हैं, and arrogant, and she is found in the company of Edgar Linton. At the same time, she keeps meeting with Heathcliff as well. So there is another incident that one afternoon, Heathcliff comes home and he finds that Edgar Linton, he is sitting with Kathy, we will call her Kathy in the novel, and when he sees that Kathy is sitting with Linton, he is annoyed, he is angry. So from here we will love as well as hate the character of Heathcliff. We will like as well as dislike the character of Catherine. We will sympathize Heathcliff because he is uncultured, he is uneducated as compared to Edgar. We will not sympathize with Heathcliff when we see he is angry, he is revengeful. So here we can say that the tone of novel is set, that this novel is about love and revenge. We will talk many times during our discussion that the one of major themes in the novel is theme of love and revenge. So revise all these incidents. We have done up to chapter 8, and note the important points, learn about them, and we will discuss it further in our next class. Thank you very much.